Pollution is the introduction of contaminants into a natural environment that causes instability, disorder, harm, and discomfort to the ecosystem. Pollution is a very serious issue in this day and age. We should not have to live in these harsh conditions. Sadly, this is not the case. This documentary was made to illustrate the distressing and unfortunate truth about what is happening to the residents living in the area of Ali Sabah Salim in the state of Kuwait. Ali Sabah Salim area, formerly known as Al Haiman, is located south of Ahmadi Governorate, and it contains around 4,000 residential homes and social services facilities. The residential area's population totals around 45,000, and these people are living their daily lives encircled by many industrial buildings and facilities. West Shu'aiba Industrial Area is located directly north of the residential area and lies just 2 kilometers away. And East Shu'aiba Industrial Area is located northeast and is only 4 kilometers away. Situated northwest of the residential area are the solid waste burial sites, Dusty Industries, and Kuwait oil companies, oil assembly centers, and they are located only 5 kilometers from the populated area. Moreover, to the west of the residential area, and less than 30 meters away, are high voltage power lines, and to the south in Al Zur area are electric power stations.
Considering these sites surrounding the populated area, we find that the residents are being exposed to and are suffering from an environmental overload of air and electromagnetic pollutants.
One of the fundamental principles of the Kuwaiti Constitution is to provide safe and suitable housing and living conditions for the citizens. Personally, after waiting 15 years, the state, represented by the Ministry of Housing Affairs, provided me with a prepared piece of land equipped with all the necessary facilities. This was under the pretext that the land was suitable for living. However, I was extremely surprised and shocked to find the location exposed the residents to horrible and irritating smells on a daily basis.
The environmental problems can be split up into 2 parts. The first part deals with the issue of electromagnetic pollution. Several studies and researches have illustrated the hazardous effects of electromagnetic pollution, especially since it differs from other types of pollutants by 2 fundamental factors. Firstly, it is imperceptible and therefore cannot be avoided. And secondly, it is extremely dangerous in its ability to penetrate through solid objects of various forms.
The problem of electromagnetic pollution in Al Haiman is a complicated issue, as the residents are constantly being exposed to this 24 hours, 7 days a week. The dangers of the strong electric force that has now exceeded to other types of pollutants in the atmosphere, such as gases that the residents are suffering from and which are being released from the industries from the Shu'aiba industrial site, which include both governmental and private industrial facilities present in the surrounding areas. Electromagnetic pollution has several effects on the human body, and we are specifically talking about the direct effects to children and women, especially during their menstrual cycles and pregnancy, when their immune system is low. As a result, they are more prone to harmful effects and poisons of the electromagnetic pollution. According to the studies conducted by many scientists, there is no doubt that the electromagnetic radiation affects the body and the mind. Some of these pathological symptoms resulting from the exposure to electromagnetic pollution include heart disease, breast cancer, brain disorders. The destruction of chemical structure of the cells of the body breaks down DNA, which results in the destruction of cells and is considered to be an adequate cause of cancer. Affects the health and development of fetuses. Disables the function of cells. Disrupts the secretion of enzymes. Disorders the levels of calcium in the body. Causes physical inactivity, laziness, constant feelings of tiredness and fatigue, and a lack of will or motivation to work. As you can see, the list is endless, and most of the symptoms are extremely severe. There is no time left for the area of Al Haiman, and it is crucial to solve the problem. Al Haiman is the only residential area that has high voltage power lines to the left and to the right, so they are surrounded by both electromagnetic and air pollution. We are waiting for a final and committed solution to solving this problem.
The second part of the environmental problems relates to air pollution. Given the mechanisms regarding air pollution, we find that nature has determined the direction of the prevailing winds in the state of Kuwait by more than 80% throughout the whole year, and they come from the north-northwestern direction. Accordingly, we find that the bulk of the problem of air pollution, more than 80%, originates from these industrial sites, which operate north-northwest of the residential area. So, most of the prevailing wind passes through these industrial sites, and the residents of Ali Sabah al-Salim are constantly breathing in these air pollutants.
The second year I was living in the area, I was diagnosed with asthma, and my children all have skin allergies. At night, you can feel gases coming into the house through the air conditioning. My house is on the edge of the area on the northern side, next to the factories. Even at night, I turn off the lights. You can see the smoke all around the house, and it comes from the AC. We can't even sleep at night.
All of these industrial facilities in Kuwait are owned by the private sector, and most are located in West Shuaiba industrial area. Currently, there are a total of 160 industrial facilities or blocks, not including the solid and liquid waste burial sites affiliated with the municipality of Kuwait, the Dusty Industries, and Kuwait Oil Company.
When they were discussing the subject of Al Haiman, they brought to me a study as I was responsible for the environment and planning. I reviewed the case, and I specifically told them that I recommended any residential areas should be established at least 20 kilometers away from the industrial sites. They told me at the time, no, 2 or 3 kilometers is enough. I explained to them that being a man that is knowledgeable about the environment, and I have studied this issue, I am telling you that you will regret this decision. Of course, human beings are capable of inhaling 2% of pollutants, and it will not affect their health. However, humans cannot handle constantly inhaling pollutants 24 hours a day. We noticed something strange, that all the area's faults range from Wafra area to the sea, because of the oil production and extraction points, as well as the other industries are located along the stretch. The pressure in the area is significantly low, as the level of sulfur affects the pressure in the atmosphere. So what do you expect are the potential effects from the other chemicals that are being emitted from other industries?
Most of the pollution is derived from these factories, and the main problem is that they have large influence over Kuwait's government bodies or regulators, and they are able to exert pressure that protects them from any punitive measures. According to Kuwait's industrial laws, Article 41, Clause 3, the Public Authority for Industry may cancel a license granted to an industrial craft or enterprise by a decision from the Board of Directors, in the event that the license holder violates any of the conditions under which the license has been granted. Furthermore, Article 40 states that the person in charge of the violating industrial craft or enterprise shall be entitled to apply for a review of the resolutions inflicting one of the penalties stipulated in paragraphs 3, 4, and 5 of the preceding article within 30 days from the date of his notification of the penalty, and the application shall be submitted to the authority's Board of Directors to pass judgment within 60 days. Therefore, and its decision in this respect shall be final. However, although these laws are present, they are not being enforced, as the private companies are too powerful and can block them. The residents of Ali Sabah al-Salim are inhaling the chemicals and poisonous substances that are emanating from these industrial facilities, which are working at full capacity. This results in several health problems, and the issue has continued despite official institutions' promises to solve the problem since November 2003.
The honest truth is that this area is not suitable for living, or the type of air is not medically or naturally suitable to inhale due to the level of pollution and chemical toxins present. This was highlighted in these reports. In 1994, the Ministry of Health instructed in this report that this area was not suitable for living before the establishment of Al Haiman as a residential area. In February 2005, Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research noted in this report that the pollution levels in the area were 19 times higher than the global limit. Reports from the Kuwait University in 1998 and in 2008 found there were 14 to 15 pollutants found in Al Haiman. Finally, in January 2010, the latest report released by the Committee of the Council of Ministers in joint cooperation with the Environmental Protection Authority and the Public Authority of Industry said they found 37 environmental violations emitted from these private factories, which are releasing toxic gases and liquids daily.
In 1998, a decision was taken by the Council of Ministers to distribute Ali Sabah al-Salim as a residential area and prohibited the construction of any new industrial facilities. At the time, there were less than 50 factories operating, but by 2005, there were 75 factories present in the area. And so, again, the Council of Ministers issued another decision banning the development of any factories. However, by 2010, you can see that the industrial facilities continue to increase in the area despite statements issued by government representatives and orders and decisions issued by the Council of Ministers over the past decade. Now, there are 160 factories, testimony that the private owners have more influence than the power of the country's laws, and that nobody is committed to stopping their establishment. As a result, the residents of the area have expressed deep disappointment with the government's lack of action towards the 10-year-old problem.
The Environmental Public Authority has confirmed 15 chemical substances present in Ali Sabah al-Salim, which include formaldehyde, benzene, styrene, fine particles or particulate matter, toluene, sulfur oxide, nitrogen oxide, ground-level ozone, phenol, ethylbenzene, xylene, acetaldehyde, non-methane organic pollutants, chromium, and lead. The pollutant measuring stations in Ali Sabah al-Salim indicate that the chemical pollutants exceed the global limit by 19-fold, making the air that the families and children inhale extremely toxic and deadly.